Welcome back to the New Dad Order Podcast, Episode 5. Ray and I talk about what's for supper, meaning what are the kids going to eat? Is it always what mom cooks? Do they get a little bit of grace every now and then? Arguing with our spouse, how that goes in each household and the things that we experience with that. Disciplining our kids, and also the experiences that Ray had being disciplined by one Mr. Roscoe, military vet. Needless to say, military rule was kind of the way it went in his house as well. Generational perspectives, how each generation views the past generation, and a little bit of disagreement on some of that as well, as far as what we've seen. Helicopter parents, and the way we use Life 360 and keep tabs or protect our kids, as some might say. Worst conversations. Ray, for some reason, enjoys bad conversations at the poker table. And I do as well, just different types. We also talk fantasy football, which is probably the most annoying conversation that one can be in, even though I play fantasy football. And then we talk about guardian caps, and we keep track of Ray's continuous CTE moments throughout. But nonetheless, we appreciate everybody for joining us for another episode of New Dad Order. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and also hit the notification buttons. That way you know when something new drops from us. Let's go.
Welcome to the New Dad Order Podcast. My name is Ray. We got Parfait over there.
How you doing, Ray? Welcome back, everybody. You doing all right today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. You know, but the one thing I wanted to talk about, I don't know how it goes with you. I know back in the day, for me, when mom cooked something, that's what we ate. It wasn't like, you know, I don't like that. Can we have this or that or the other? So the other day, my wife was making some pastalaya. All right. Making some pastalaya.
Get down with that.
And we have our nieces over. They're staying with us. We're helping support them a little bit, but the nieces were staying over, and we're not only are they going to school locally, but we're also helping them with some discipline items as well. So
Uncle Ray's in charge.
Just a little bit when I need to step in.
Okay, makes sense.
When I need to step in. So she goes and making pastalaya, and then she proceeds to go to get some cereal for both of the girls. So what are you doing? What are we doing here? She's like, they don't like pastalaya. I'm like, whoa. Whatever we cook, that's what we eat.
Was that the rule for your kids?
That was the rule for our kids.
Okay, all right.
That was the rule for our kids.
So she's giving the
nieces
a little bit of grace.
A little bit. She's giving a little grace. So I said, well, why are you giving them? They don't like pastalaya. I'm like, well, honey, we gotta teach them some discipline. We teach them some discipline. They should eat what we're eating. If they don't like it, maybe their palate will open up.
And how old are they?
One is 5, and the other one is 3. Yep, 5 and 3.
I mean, Uncle Ray, you can't exactly expect 5 and 3-year-olds to have
not eating
refined
cereal.
palates there.
We're not eating.
I mean, I agree with
cereal
not eating cereal
for dinner, but I lost.
Was that the first battle? Or this has happened before?
This has happened before. But that was the battle, and her response was, I didn't always like eating what I ate when I was a kid, so I'm going to allow them to eat what they want. Eventually.
Did you ask her, well, you turned out all right, didn't you?
No.
You didn't go that route? No? All right. Didn't want to poke the bear right away? Okay.
You don't do that. You just go, okay. All right. Love you. And we moved on. So
that's passive aggressive in itself.
So a little bit.
All right.
Right? A little bit. So in that moment, you know, it was an argument. Right? It was a slight argument.
Brief,
quick argument.
But nonetheless.
It was a quick argument. And it was over food and trying to set an example, you know, discipline the kids and the new kids. But we don't always have those kind of arguments. And when we do have arguments, I don't know what you guys, I don't know if you guys do, and I'll get to you.
Yeah.
But when we do have arguments, it's never about money.
Right.
It's never about anything else, you know. It's more about our kids. We always argue about the kids.
That makes sense. It's a pretty emotional topic whenever you're talking about kids.
Like one thing is, I think we talked about it before.
What's that?
TVs in the room. I didn't like TVs in the room.
Yep, you lost that.
Lost.
Yep.
The other thing is sometimes when the kids got older, their palate didn't agree with what she was making. I'm like, we're wasting food if they don't eat it.
Right, you don't look like
I
you
lost.
wasted too much.
I'm sorry?
Nothing? Did you waste food?
No, but
okay.
the other thing too is, understand this too, before we got healthier.
I didn't waste it.
She is from Homa, therefore she's Cajun.
Right.
They're not all Cajun in Homa, okay? They're not all.
Just
but
the good
she
ones.
She is. So she was a big, white beans and white rice, red beans and rice. I'm like, honey, that's double carb. She's like, I don't know what that is.
Beans have proteins, right? They do have protein in beans.
So we never got an argument about that food, but my point is when we did get in arguments, it was always about our kids. And that was a reminder for me and what happened when we were trying to serve. She made awesome
supper.
pastalaya and she veered off to the right and allowed the other kids to eat what they wanted. And I was like, didn't agree with it. So what about you? I mean, do you all argue about anything?
You want to talk about food and what's good for supper? That is the number one argument in my household as far as what's for supper, to the point where it's usually a text sent at the most random time of who can ask who first. What are we going to eat for supper tonight? And no one has an answer.
So that's not an argument. But
it is like it. Yeah. Well, he always said, stop arguing about what's for supper, and then so we said, well, what do you want to eat for supper? And he said, I don't know, and so no one knows. We never know what we're going to eat for supper. And my wife, bless her, right? Because we've been married since 2011, and she has probably chosen what's going to be for supper 95% of the time.
Ooh, let me ask you this question.
And yet she's still convinced that I'm going to have an opinion, which is, really? I have no idea why, but yet she's still convinced, and they get mad whenever I can't decide what I want. But I just say, I'll eat eggs. And she says, you can't say that. And then she says she's going to make a spaghetti. And I told her I gave up spaghetti for Lent. And then Luke says, Dad, it's October. Why'd you give up spaghetti? And so, I'm just sticking to it. And so, the joke is that I don't like her spaghetti. I'm not a huge fan of spaghetti. It's not my favorite food.
No,
not a little bit.
I'm not going to talk about my wife's spaghetti.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine. I eat it whenever she makes it.
So has she gotten to a point, now that you say that, where she's frustrated because she's cooked maybe the same thing over and over again? I mean, let's say 10 to 15 different kind of plates, but she cooks them over and over again.
Yeah,
has she gotten frustrated?
She got frustrated. She got frustrated whenever I called her out, and she came to the realization that she's a picky eater.
Oh.
But yet she didn't think she was a picky eater. And then I started saying all of the things that she does not eat that I eat. And then she realized that she just liked everything that they ate as a kid. So she always ate. So as you were saying, that's what's for supper. That's what we're going to eat. Obviously, she lived in one of those households, but they really liked the food that was being prepared.
Okay.
So when Mom cooked a meal or whatever it was, they ate that meal. So she really likes all the things she grew up eating, not realizing that she doesn't eat a lot of different things. I, on the other hand, I didn't become a fat kid because I didn't try new foods. So I'm down for whatever. I go to a restaurant, give me the special because that's what the chef said should be cooked. I'm going to try it. So I'm not one of those guys.
There's only one thing that I will not eat.
What's that?
Beef liver. Beef.
I mean, that sounds reasonable.
Liver. It's the only thing. Chicken liver is awesome.
You see, I don't even know if I've ever had. I'd try it. If you told me it was good, I'd take your word for it.
It's chewy. It's chewy and it tastes good.
There's so many other
beef
parts
liver is,
of the chicken.
Like,
I'm
not talking about chitlins or anything. I'm not even going there with that. I've never had that stuff, so I can't really comment on that. However, I had beef liver, and it's one of those situations where Roscoe S. Belvin said, "You will finish that beef liver." I was at the dinner table for 2 hours,
just nibbling,
chunk, like cut.
And just swallow it.
Yeah,
How
that's the
old were
truth.
you?
I want to say 10 or 11
Okay, so
years
around
old.
yeah.
Yeah, 10 or 11 years
So
old.
where
I'll never
you
forget.
were opinionated, but you weren't brave enough to really express them too hard. Yeah.
No, not
So
against
no,
Roscoe. No.
we eat whatever's prepared, whether we want it or not. And I'm okay, man. I'm a pretty boring eater. I don't need an elaborate meal. In fact, my mother-in-law gives my wife a hard time because we will cook a meal on Sunday and we will eat that for like 3 nights. I'm fine with leftovers. I really don't care. Now on
So
the weekends,
you all will do leftovers 3 days in a row.
if it lasts 3 days, we'll eat it 3 days. I don't care. I really don't. Food is substance. If I don't have to think about it, if I don't have to make a decision on what's going to be for supper, then I'm cool with it.
Yeah,
So now we'll do
you and I
different
agree.
variations of that meal, so it may not be complete leftovers, other than like spaghetti. But we may be like, okay, look, we're gonna cook some shrimp. So we cook some shrimp on Sunday night, and we do it with pasta, and then we cook some shrimp on the next night, and we do it with rice, and or whatever it is. Make shrimp fried, whatever. We'll do a variation of the protein. How about that?
No, that makes sense. No, because my wife, like, she made the pastalaya Sunday, or let's say she made it Sunday, and then on Monday she made a chicken, another dish. We had a whole bunch of pastalaya left. I'm like, honey, why don't we just finish eat up on that pasta? We might not have enough, but they're going to eat
They're
cereal.
eating cereal, yeah. We got plenty enough.
They're going to eat. We'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm fine with leftovers.
Because she does not like to eat leftovers.
Oh, that's on her.
Well,
So-
no, I think that's another childhood thing, scar that she has.
She used to have to eat leftovers as a kid?
I believe, and the leftovers would last for a long time.
Right.
So
And there's only 3 of us in my house. So we're going to have leftovers.
it all depends on how much and like, well, how much do you all cook? How much does she cook? Does she cook like super bulk, like for 5 people? So then, or 6 people, and then you're eating.
So I'd say we probably cook for like 9 because we
There
usually
you
eat
go.
leftovers for 3
Right.
days, but only because it's really
It's almost like
way-
that
but we
Italian
have-
mentality.
But we also have a huge calendar of events that revolve around the little dude and ourselves as well.
And that's why it's good to have those leftovers.
And so
yeah.
the leftovers takes a lot of thinking out of the way whenever we're going to have practice late. And I mean,
Because you don't want to
she comes
fast
home
food
from
it all the
work
time.
and no, man, fast food. Like we try to save that for, honestly, that's usually like a Sunday and we don't feel like thinking about anything. And we'll do something fast. I say something fast food. I mean, honestly, our fast food equates to red beans and rice from Popeyes, Raising Cane's, or like Jimmy John's.
That's all pretty decent.
Or Jersey Mike's or something like that. We don't.
Jimmy John's so
yeah.
tasteless.
No, I'm Jersey Mike's. I'm not a Jimmy John's fan. I'm Jersey. I prefer Jersey.
Yeah,
Mike's.
we have trash in Fridays. Trash in Fridays.
Yeah. So we'll do pizza night too. We usually go eat out on a Friday night or something like that, and then Friday night or like a Saturday for lunch. I'm a big lunch fan. I like going to a different spot for lunch.
Yeah.
I'm a lunch venue. I like the scene. I like to be in a good like atmosphere. How about that? I like a good
Yeah,
atmosphere
yeah.
for lunch. I'm Chimes in Covington. It's set up. It's on the river and outdoor seating and things like that. Love sitting outside, eating lunch on a weekend. I can get down with that. You don't sound like you'd be amused with that.
Not in Louisiana.
Well, I mean, not at all times, but when we hit those magic days, the 4 days of fall and the 6 days of spring.
6 days, yeah.
So those days are fine. They got the spot right there. Brew and Brew, they have some patio seating with some live music, and then Black and Brew, the burger joint, it's on the water, and they opened up a little brewery.
I
that's
just tried that the
connected
other
to
day.
it. Which one? Black and
Black
Brew?
and Brew, yeah.
Black and Brew.
It just moved up there
Yeah, down the road.
Yeah.
But that's an awesome place. Outdoor seating, they got patios and fans. And so how often does this argument happen? Is it only around the food or not really?
No,
That's
no,
our
no,
thing over here. We argue over food.
No, you guys argue a little bit. I don't think that's.
It's not even really
I don't
argue.
think that's really an argument.
It's more of nagging each other and guilting the
That's-
other person into deciding what's for supper.
Totally different from what happens in my house, and mine isn't exactly. That was an argument, and that's how quick it was, right? So it maybe more of a fuss. I tried to fuss and it didn't work,
Right.
right? The other arguments are just, I think we talked about it a little bit, is just around disciplining the kids and how I discipline versus how she disciplines, and how when I say something, I put my foot down and they respond versus when she does and they don't. But I think it's because
So they don't respond well to her discipline?
not all the time until she gets fired up because
They know it's real.
yeah, until she gets fired up because she's the favorite. Because she's the favorite.
Yeah, it's a good spot to be.
Yeah, and I think that's why me not being a favorite, when I say stop it, they're stopping it.
Well, I'm the favorite. When I say stop it, it happens as well, too.
Well, that doesn't help me. Thank you very much.
It does.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. No, man, it's awesome to be the favorite parent. I am.
Yeah.
The dog likes me more.
Really?
The kid likes me more. Actually, she can't stand the dog, so the dog is. No, I'm the favorite. The dog likes me more. The kid likes me more. Like, I'm the favorite. I think she's pet the dog twice. Once was during the snowstorm when she had gloves on. She pet the top of his head, knocked the snow off. Yeah, she's not a dog person, but she had to give in. We were having one kid. I'm like, I don't want him growing up without a dog. The little boy's got to have a dog.
Right.
And so we got the dog, and I mean, it's slightly morbid, but I wanted the dog at a certain age for him. That way, whenever the dog got old and will die, it will be whenever he's like getting ready to go to college.
Yeah,
and just so he could grow up with old Rupert,
Right.
and have a dog, and that was it.
So his full name is Rupert.
That's his, more or less, yes, Rupert James. Whenever he acts up,
Okay.
so we throw a middle name on there too.
I thought it was Rue. Like
Rue,
my daughter's-
R-O-U-X.
R-O-U-X, because the whole.
Yeah, that's what you cook
with a roux. Yeah,
cook with a
gum-
roux.
yeah,
Yep.
for
Gumbo.
gumbos,
We
yeah.
like gumbo too. Whenever she cooks a gumbo.
I
So
saw her cooking a gumbo, and she was like, just understand this. I don't normally do it from a package, but my wife does it too.
oh no, she never does. Like, that's a rarity. That was an impromptu. I got some chicken that we can cook.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, protein stays the same. We'll do different things with it. That became, what can we fix really quick? And so she made a gumbo.
But I think that is the credit to her ability to cook, though.
Oh no, she's a great cook. She's actually a great baker.
Oh, really?
bakes.
She's
She
better
loves
at
to bake.
baking and cooking.
Yeah,
That's
she enjoys
awesome.
baking. She hates cooking, that's why we argue about what's for supper.
Really?
Yeah. So no. She enjoys
That makes
baking,
sense,
and she does enjoy baking. We enjoy her baking. We always have sweets in the house.
Yeah, I love that chocolate chip cookie. It was awesome. Yeah.
So we always have sweets. We always something, which is fine because I don't gorge myself on it because it's always there. Mm-hmm. Like, we've had a chocolate chip cookie in a container, one chocolate chip cookie left for 3 days now. It probably needs to just be thrown out. Why? I don't know. No one's grabbed it. We just haven't eaten the last chocolate chip cookie. It sounds crazy, but that's the whole thing where we have it, food, all that stuff. It's there. We're not tempted by it. We can have candy on a counter. Mm-hmm. Little man has control over himself.
You don't think it's more of a respect thing? Like, look, little man goes, well, I'm not going to eat the last one. I want dad to eat it. Or
He will always
my favorite, or I'm going to let mom eat it. And then you see it, go, I'm going to let my wife eat it. And then she sees it, go like, no, I'm going to let my little one eat it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, is it because it's the last one?
There is a conscious part of it too, because I'll offer it. I'll be like, hey man, you want this last cookie? No, you can have it. Sometimes he says, yes, I want it. So it just kind of revolves. It's not like everybody,
Well, that makes
they always
sense.
get the last one.
No, I'm just saying, like, someone by themselves, it's for dad. And you walk up and like, I'm going to let wife get it.
No, I don't think so. I mean, we can probably lie to ourselves and say that's what it is, but I don't think so.
I was trying to look for it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
No, really not. I mean, we're not that considerate, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, we considerate of each other. We're family. We love each other. Mm-hmm. But as far as that goes, if I really wanted it, I'm like, you know what? If it's still on the counter, whenever we're done with this, guess who's having that cookie tonight? This guy. So
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
I mean, then again, they've had 3 days to claim it, so it's not
Yeah.
like, we're not missing out on anything. But no, so you said that you don't argue about money. You don't argue, it's just the kids. But like, when you say you argue about the kids, does it get like slamming doors argument, or does it get don't talk to each other argument? There's so many different ways that can go for certain people. Is it emotional outburst or emotional shutdown? How about that?
No, our voices raise. Our voices get higher than normal.
All right.
And because our voices get higher than normal, sometimes somebody's feelings gets hurt. Right? They'll get hurt. It's
I
never
assume
ever.
the way you're saying that, your feelings as well get hurt at times, not just hers, right?
No.
No, just hers?
I always hurt hers.
Right.
Exactly. But it's not any kind of words that I say. Like, I don't call her anything. I don't
Strictly
demean
tone.
her. It's just my tone, right? It's my tone. When I realize it, my father was bad at that. Was bad at that with my mother. Was really bad at that. And I've had several conversations with my wife about that. Like, I don't want to be like that. And in the moment, I'll realize it. Sometimes I'll realize it and I'll step back. But it's not like it's not abusive. It's not abusive.
Is the sorry received?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So she understands that like the instant regret isn't just you trying to like isn't you just squashing it. It's a genuine I'm sorry.
It's a genuine I'm sorry.
I mean, I believe you. You're a pretty genuine guy.
Yeah, it's because I'm more of I don't want to stir up the pot, but we always do it to the people we love. We always we do the worst to the people we love, and I do it to her more than anybody else.
Well, it makes
but I
sense.
don't. But I always do it. I mean, we've been together 17, almost 18 years, 17 married, and we've had, maybe 2 handfuls of arguments, right? And the most of those arguments were in the beginning of our relationship, where I'm like, I'm a man. You don't tell me what to do. You know what I mean? Like, it was one of those, and it was around the kids.
Okay.
Because, that kid's getting a whooping. No, he's not. Yes, he is. He did this. The kid didn't get a whooping, but you know. So it's more about that, and so I'm frustrated because now she just took my manhood from me.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah.
When I was that younger guy, when I was that guy getting into the relationship, building and understanding how you need to be in a relationship. Look, I came from a family of 4, me, my sister, my dad, my mom. My dad's a military guy. We're military brats. When we messed up, the belt came out. Until I turned 13 years old, the fist came out.
Oh, wow.
Okay? No, he didn't hit me.
Yes, I know what you mean.
He didn't hit me, but there was no more belt. Yeah. It was now, you think you're a man?
You think you're a man, we're about to find out.
Yeah, we're going to find out.
And then,
so I do have a hole in my wall for when I ducked, but I didn't have to duck because he's missing on purpose. Yes, but he was trying to show me this is what's going to happen. That happened to me twice where he picked me up and put me on the wall. And now look, I'm as big as him at 14 years old. I'm as big as him. But he put me on the wall. I calmed down. And after the second time, it didn't happen again. So I came from a situation where I wasn't abused.
Yeah.
I was disciplined accordingly. Like he didn't just beat me just to beat me.
No, like you knew that you were deserving of it. Yes.
The first time, I'll tell you the first time. You and your sister are going to go outside and go wash the cars. But Dad, I want to go play. I want to go play with my friends. I'm 13 years old. Play? I want to go play with my friends. It's a great day outside. He's like, exactly. Go wash the cars with your sister. I ain't going to wash the cars.
So you thought?
I'm in the room. Here he comes. Fist through the wall. I washed the cars.
Yep.
Cars got
really
washed.
Well, really
I said, Shirley, you don't have to. I got this. The second time, I can't really remember the second time, but I mouthed off, and I thought I was the man because I was as big as him, and he put me on the wall.
That was it.
And that was it.
That
and
makes
from
sense.
That point
that
on,
was it.
Yeah. From
well,
that
there's
point
also
on,
a level of respect that was gained through that.
A huge level of respect, and from that point on, it was don't mess with Roscoe, don't mess with Dad.
It's don't mess with him, but I also think it's you could probably even at 13 start to have some self-reflection to realize that you provoked this situation, and do I really want to provoke situations like this on a continuous basis? Because he's letting me know that it's getting real and he's not going to deal with it.
Yes.
And so you're just
exactly
like, that's,
correct. Yeah.
let's just not do that anymore and stop being a jerk and listen to dad, because in the end, he's not a bad guy.
Not a bad guy, and he's not asking.
He's not asking for a whole lot
world.
either.
Right. He's not asking
Go
for
wash the cars, Ray.
Yeah. With your sister.
With her. Yeah, not even by yourself. It wasn't even a punishment. It was a chore.
Just go wash the cars.
No.
Great weather. So, no, it just, the other thing that he always pushed this. Do not put your hands on a girl, especially your mom or your sister. Do not put your hands on a girl. And after the 14-year-old slammed to the wall, yes, sir, you got that. Never. And that's another thing that it wasn't a side, like a foundational thing, but it was for my boys. Don't put your hands on a woman. Don't ever put your hands on a woman.
To me, that becomes like one of those things where it's such a given in the sense of.
Sort of.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. But it's such a given in my naive brain of why anybody would do that. Because I was never around it. And I never witnessed it. And I don't know. And it's also one of those things, too, where I didn't have a mom in the house. You know, like mom passed away when I was 6 years old. So, like, I didn't witness parents arguing.
Right.
You know, so when you ask me, do my wife and I argue? We really don't. We really don't argue.
I get it.
We talk a lot more and we communicate and we have disagreements, but she's an accountant and I'm not as emotional as what I probably should be about certain things. Yes, I can be overly emotional about certain things, but in the end, I'm pretty level-headed whenever it comes to thinking things through and logical process. And so if I yell at you, you're going to yell back at me, and now we're going to solve nothing. And it's also one of those things, too, where if we talk about something that you're highly emotional about, for instance, soccer players being the best athletes, and I don't agree with that, then you can provoke emotion out of me. But even from that standpoint, I'm going to stick to the talking points as far as what we're going through if we do have a disagreement, opposed to... And I guess you can call it scorekeeping, right? So scorekeeping in relationships. I don't know if you've ever been around couples that do this, but it is the one thing where I was like, I'm not doing that. And my wife and I got married a little bit, later. I talked about that. We were 29 years old whenever we got married. And so being a little bit older, being able to navigate through other relationships and knowing what you're not looking for in a partner, opposed to marrying your high school sweetheart that you became adults together. We were already adults whenever we started dating. But I say all that to say, so I don't know if you've ever been around relationships where people scorekeep, right? And what I mean by scorekeep is you do something, then I do something, whatever. And we getting married later, in our late 20s, getting married at that point, we had already navigated through some relationships that we knew we didn't want to be a part of. And then we've been around people who have those types of relationships that we didn't want to be a part of. And the scorekeeping thing is, you see it a lot whenever you're younger, like in college, like that dating or high school, whatever it may be, is, well, you went out with your friends, so I'm going out with my friends.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, like, you did this in 2018.
No, that's just being mean and just digging up the past and trying to throw shots at somebody.
I see what you're saying.
But like a scorekeeping relationship where it provokes little arguments throughout because this one did that, so I'm going to do this. Or you did just that type of thing, right? Keeping track of what the other one did for no real reason to use it against them. Like that provokes small little argument. That's the scorekeeping thing is what I mean. And I think those types of relationships where people do that end up provoking a lot more emotional arguments from things that fester. And I don't think anyone would say that that's a good type of relationship to be in. I don't think you're in one like that. You guys don't seem like you're scorekeeping as much as just kind of butt heads on certain disciplinary things when it comes to the kids. That's what you said. That's the main gist of the arguments that happen in your household. Yeah, but I'm fortunate that didn't have arguments, but at the same time never had a basis to judge what married couples would do because I was 6 years old when my mom passed away. So, yeah, I'm not saying poor me. I'm just saying that definitely is one where learned traits happen. Kids hear their parents argue or not argue. I didn't hear my kids argue. My kid doesn't hear us argue. Probably not going to. And then whenever we do kind of argue, it's usually not arguing where he chimes in. He's like, guys, stop arguing. We're like, we're not arguing. We're deciding what's for supper, dude.
Right.
So that's where usually where it goes. So
Yeah. You know, you talked about earlier, you guys met, you know, at a different age, and it was just like a lot easier to be in that marriage. You know?
I don't know if it was necessarily easier. It's just different. That was our situation. So
Well, no, I think because, and this is my thought process.
right.
You get out there, you meet people, and you figure out your likes and your dislikes. Okay?
Yeah,
You figure out your likes, your dislikes, and then you eventually find that person. I mean, I used to have like some goofy standards. Like if I could hear you chewing, it wasn't going to work.
I don't think that's that
Right.
goofy.
It wasn't going to work. If you didn't know what a tight end was, it wasn't going to work. That one eventually went away.
Well, it's gonna have to. Yeah.
All right. But the thing that I don't agree with, that I don't like, is when couples in public play like they're fighting.
What do you mean
Like
play?
like they're physically. Oh, stop!
Oh,
stop.
okay. Like pretend to have a physical
Pretend to have a physical altercation
because they probably
with each
have
other.
real physical altercations.
That's
behind
what I
closed
think,
door.
or eventually it turns into that, and that's why I don't play. Like I've never raised my hand to my wife at all whatsoever, ever.
Yeah.
Never ever. Right. So that's one of my beliefs, is you don't do that. The other belief is, you know, you don't walk around going, you will stand. And I used to think this, but you will stand one by one behind me as I walk.
That's like a protective.
No.
alpha move?
No.
Are you serious?
No. You will stand. No. I used to think this. I never did
okay.
this.
I was about to say,
No.
you used to tell girls this?
No.
Say-
No.
Okay.
I used to think that's what I'm gonna have my wife walk
that's
one
right.
by one behind me, like, you know, I am the leader. Yeah, I'm the alpha, and you will walk. Yeah, that was
I got certain parts of
lost
the
that
world where
one.
you could have probably pulled that off. This ain't gonna be one of them.
no. God, that eventually went away with the tight end thing.
Yeah.
You know. So, but the biggest
If not,
one
you wouldn't
is-
be talking about relationships because you probably
at
wouldn't
all.
have one.
I wouldn't be in one.
No.
But the biggest thing that I think or that I saw and I learned with age, with wisdom, is the whole, you know, playing, we're hurting each other. I think is
Have
the
you
worst
ever been in a
thing
relationship like that?
No.
Okay. All right.
You know, there's something that I saw on the internet.
Yep. The internet got a lot of information.
yeah.
What'd you find out now?
I'm gonna read you something.
Go for it.
Kids are just different these days.
That's not
I disagree.
okay.
Kids are the same. What's changed is a society with lowered expectations, lack of discipline, and acceptance of disrespect. Give kids boundaries, expectations, rules, limits, rewards, and consequences. They will rise to the challenge and exceed your expectations every time.
Nah.
I agree with all of that.
You agree with that?
I agree with all of that.
I think it's all.
I agree with
BS.
all of that. You know, I saw that.
I think it's BS
Tell me why you think it's BS.
because it's not an original thought. It's somebody who posted something and they're getting likes on it. What generation ever thought kids were raised the right way? No one, except for the generation that they were a part of. Man, we grew up. We went outside when the sun came up. We didn't come back home till the sun went down. We drank water out the hose. Yeah, man, that was my generation. You know what we knew what social media was when you saw your friends' bikes in front of the other person's house. That's where you knew everybody was at. Yeah, man, I get it. That was the way we communicated. Guess what? Kids do it more efficiently now. I don't know. I just think that every generation complains about the next generation, and we did it better because we just have more time to think about what we did. The kids nowadays, you got punks in the group, and you got good kids in the group. You got turds there. It doesn't matter. Like I don't think that has changed.
Along with that thought process, you got good kids and you got bad kids, right?
Right.
I mean, black and white. Do you think there's more good than there are bad?
Yes, I think there are way more good people in this world than bad.
I agree. Do you think there are more kids, inactive kids versus active?
No, I definitely think that kids are. I think that we have done things to make kids less active by the standards that we call active. It doesn't mean that there's less brain activity or physical activity.
I'm talking about physical. I'm talking about physical, like the bikes. Like, do you Like for example, I don't know how often you see this. I don't see it often. I don't see a lot of kids on bikes
All right,
rolling around
stop you right
neighborhoods.
there. You don't see a lot of kids on bikes. Ray, you have a daughter. How comfortable would you feel with her just riding her bike all day long?
And that's where I was going.
There you go.
Well, that's where I was going.
Yeah.
Do you think we're more helicopter now than we? Because we used to call that out a little bit. Oh, that dad or that mom too overbearing. Too overbearing. You think we're more of that nowadays than before?
Yes, but I think we're that for certain things. And I think we're too helicopter, and I say we as obviously like in a collective, we as a society type thing. I don't think that the helicopter parent is in the terms of preventing your kid from doing something. That's not where I see the problem with helicopter parents, of not letting your kid go ride the bike down the street, not letting them stay out till the sun goes down. I don't think that's the helicopter problem. I think the helicopter problem is probably, I'm not saying you do, probably something you have on your phone. And then I know so many people who have teenagers on my phone and Life 360 of knowing where your kid is at any given time and not allowing them to just live life free. Oh, mom's going to check Life 360. That helicopter parent, to me, is so much worse than the one who doesn't want their kid to go hang out outside. And I think that you're thinking helicopter parent of not allowing your kids to explore. Helicopter parent for me is strictly based on the fact of holding your finger down, using the technology that we criticize them for always using to see where they're at.
I tend to agree, but I also disagree. I disagree with that because my wife uses that 360, and only because it's not to go, well, I want to make sure, it is because I want to make sure I know where they are, because if they say they're going to be at this house, they need to be at that house. And all of a sudden, if they're moving somewhere else, why are they moving somewhere else? Are they moving somewhere else because they decided to move somewhere else and they didn't contact me, or somebody moving them? That's the only reason why she used the 360. And it is, I get it.
I don't believe that.
There's a 50-50 there, right? There's a 50-50 there.
I think that's an excuse.
I don't think that's an excuse. I don't think it's an excuse.
But yeah, I told my dad I was going to be at Jeff's house. Guess what? Sometimes
we moved.
We left Jeff's house. Why?
We heard it somewhere else.
Because Ashley was having a party. Yeah. So guess what? We ended up at Ashley's house.
Yeah, we heard it somewhere else. I get that.
Yeah.
Right? With a group of friends. I get that.
But I mean, if you're going to live the, oh my God, was she kidnapped because they left this house?
No,
I'm not
why?
saying that's
Why?
what it is.
No.
I'm taking it to the extreme, obviously, speaking with hyperbole. Yeah. But from that aspect of, do you need to know right there all the time? Or can you just check in the evening? Hey, what time is curfew? Okay, they're supposed to be at whatever, Sarah's house. That's where they're spending the night. Mm-hmm. So what time's curfew? All right. They're supposed to be back home at 10:30. 10:30? Let's see. Yep, they're back at Sarah's house. Cool. Good night. Or are we looking at 7:30, 7:45, 8:15, 9 o'clock?
No, I don't think.
Are we doing that? Because
no,
I'm not saying she is, but I'm saying, but a lot of people do.
I'm sure there are. I mean, but how did we get to that point, though? Is it because we have the ability to do it?
Yes.
Or is it because of other things out there? Or are we making all that up in our heads?
No, I mean, obviously, human trafficking is a big deal. That is real. That is real. That stuff was always real. It's worse now because there's more
prevalent as we may think it is.
No, it makes us feel better about stalking our kids by using that as the excuse, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm saying I'm making bold statements right now with a 9-year-old sitting right there because I can't say that I'm not going to fall into this trap. But I can tell you this, whenever he is old enough to be that teenager and I am doing that, I'll have enough self-awareness to not lie to myself that I just want to make sure he's safe. And I'm like, no, I'm making sure he's not with his little turd friends that always cause trouble. Mm-hmm. Because, hey, bro, let's not make the real mistake here. We can do dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Let's not make the real one. And so if I am monitoring it like that, like I know some people are, and they can't go to sleep because this, I'm like, man, I'd be lying to myself if I said, I'm just making sure that he's safe. No, I'm stalking him. I'm keeping tabs on him. I hope I don't do it. I hope I don't. I don't have that on my phone. They have married couples that have that on their phone for each other. I'm like, my gosh, man, why does she need to know where you're at?
No.
At this point in time.
No. She has it for the kids. I don't have it. She was like, "You gonna get it?" I'm like,
"You're probably."
Do you really want me to?
Yeah, you're probably taking care of it anyway. So yeah.
She's like, I mean, it wouldn't hurt. I'm like, I agree, it wouldn't hurt. No, I'm not stepping out. That's almost the same as married couples having the same Facebook page.
That's weird. But I will say this though, right? So you commute, right? So before we get on to the the family Facebook page, but you commute to work. You have more than an hour drive every day to work.
Yeah, it's 54 miles one way.
Yeah, and I'm on the road all day long.
Yeah.
And so from that standpoint, I could see that being not a terrible thing just because you are driving on the interstate every day. You're there. You're on the interstate for like 3 hours a day whenever you hit the traffic. And I'm on the road all day long with my work. So if my wife had it from that standpoint, I would say, yeah, but most of the time, I mean, hey, you want to see where I'm at? On the couch next to you. So that's kind of.
And that's the other thing too is my hobbies, my geeky hobbies. I'm not in the bar. The only thing that was
I don't think your hobbies would. I mean, I don't think your hobbies would lead her to think that you were doing anything fun.
The only thing was when I went and played poker.
Well, for you, once again, chicks don't really. I mean, seriously, what was there like? One six that played poker because she was in the poker room. She was a 9, like back in the poker.
But was she a 9?
No, she was like a 6. She was 6 on a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday, I don't even know if she was a 6. But no, that's probably the only thing that would call for something like that for me to have even a dusting of trust issues with your wife.
0.
Right. And I have
other
none
than
with mine.
Other than her ability to think of what's going to be for supper. 0 trust in her.
Well, no, I'm talking.
I know.
I'm talking the other trust.
Yeah, no.
Trust piece, and I get that too. Yeah. But yeah, there's none of that.
I think that's that thing where if you go digging, you're only going to find the thing that pisses you off.
Well, she has access to my phone.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though.
Does your wife have access to your phone?
Yeah, she knows my code on my phone. Yeah, that doesn't matter. I mean, she's going to find a bunch of notes and a bunch of very inappropriate group texts with the boys.
Yeah.
That's about all she's going to find. So a ton of memes that she doesn't need to see.
Yeah.
And she's going to say, I can't believe you guys do this. Ooh, gross.
Yeah.
And so that's about all she's going to find on my phone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have, look at it, whatever. You're going to be bored.
100%.
Why do you have 737 unread text messages? That's going to be the first question.
Oh yeah. Why do you have all that red on your phone? That's what I get.
That's
why do you have all that red? I'm like, I didn't notice.
I was like, because I got put in a group text with people that I don't want to group text with, so they just go on mute.
On and on and on.
Yeah, so they're on mute, and so I don't ever open it. And
my Gmails got up to 59,000 at one point.
I got a hold of emails. That one stays clean.
Oh no, I cleaned it up, but I couldn't believe I didn't really notice.
Yeah. No, that's probably the only one. The text messages and social media, like notifications, that stuff, that number can go. I don't really care.
Oh, that makes sense.
That's about the only ones.
That makes sense. You know, when we did play poker, we never really talked poker, you and I. You know that?
No.
I think you and Davey might have talked more poker than.
Oh yeah, well we always rode together, so that was our sounding board.
I know sometimes we would talk if we were sitting next to each other. We would talk different situations.
Yeah, because there's because that's a quiet conversation that you only want to have with the person that you want to have it with, and you don't want to have it like amongst the whole bunch of people, because talking about poker at a poker table is about as fun as asking someone how their fantasy football team is doing. I really don't care. I really don't care. If anyone ever if you want to talk about your fantasy football team, I'm like, nah, I'm good. I play fantasy football every year with the same group of guys. The most inappropriate text message group that I have is those guys. Yeah. We talk about fantasy football.
You gotta have friends like that.
One day out the year, and we always do a live draft. We always do a live draft. We don't do an online draft.
Yeah. Oh, like at someone's house or something?
We go. Yep. We rented a house in I don't know, Bay St. Louis, somewhere on the coast, or Well, I don't even know where we're.
Where is everybody? Are they close or are they?
No, we're
places?
spread out. We're
Okay.
I mean, everybody. There's a core of them in one spot. Hour and a half, 2 hours away. You know, a few of us. So there's 10 of us or 10 of us, 11 of 10 or 12. I think we combine leagues. So 12 of us. All right. So I'd say half the league lives within proximity of each other, and the other half live about an hour to an hour and a half away.
Right.
And we always find a spot that we're going to get together and we're going to do our live draft for fantasy football. And we've done it live every single year. Never did an online draft. And that's my fantasy football talk. That is what I love. That's why that group of guys are the dudes that I die for.
Yeah,
you know?
that's awesome, man. Those are like the guys you don't talk to for a while and you just pick right up.
Never miss a beat.
That's awesome.
You know what, man? That right there, I think that's going to be something I teach my son. I don't know if you do fantasy football, but I'm going to throw that down as a dad rule right now.
Fantasy football.
Fantasy football with the dudes, weekend away. Got to be a live draft, no online crap.
Yeah.
Got to be. If he's going to play fantasy football, he's got to do a live draft with his boys. You got to find a way to get away.
You got to find.
Because we get together and we do dumb stuff for 2 days, and it's a blast. It's a blast. We make a trip, just the guys.
I've seen some guys online who select drafts by running the 40. Who's picking first by
the
running
40,
the 40.
We used to run combines. We had a combine. We did a combine and select the draft order. We had a punt. We had a pass.
Okay.
We had a 20-yard sprint because we didn't want anybody blowing out an Achilles or anything. We had a shuttle run. We had a broad jump.
Whoa.
Yeah. I think those were
You
the
guys
5.
went deep.
Yeah. So we used to do a combine to select the draft order. If you win the drill, there was 10 people in the league at the time. You got 10 points for winning the drill. You got 1 point if you finished last.
Right.
Whoever had the most points at the end of the combine, then you got to select where you wanted to draft at. So maybe you didn't want the first pick, maybe you wanted the third, whatever it was. But that's how the draft order got selected.
What is it? Is it a frozen draft or is it? Well, no, the combine. Is it a frozen draft or you redraft every year?
Like keeper league or man, we're talking
like keeper league.
We're not doing this. Fantasy football talk over. No, I'm not doing it. I told you
we
were talking about combine. No, I'm not.
Is
no,
it keeper
that's
league?
boring. No one wants to hear about the fantasy football team.
I want to know.
I don't care.
Is it keeper or no?
No.
Okay, that's all I need.
All right.
Thank you.
Gosh.
Thank you.
Wow.
You know the other funny thing.
You want to show me a picture of your dog too?
I don't have a picture of my dog.
Well, that's about as fun as talking about fantasy football.
Fantasy football is awesome, man.
No, it's not.
It's awesome. Especially during the season and you're trying to figure out.
Stop talking about it. No, you know what's fun? Betting the board with your boys at the casino. Let's roll. Who's got the best parlay of the day? Because we don't take a whole lot.
I don't know.
And you just fire off.
Parlay.
That is fun. I don't like shooting parlays, but if we're gonna hang out with the boys, we're gonna fire off some stuff stupid.
Dude, but when I would come to the table and you're already there, and I'm sitting across the table and you're in your ninja outfit, okay, the hat and the hood.
Oh, no, I didn't wear a hood.
You did wear.
No, I did not. You'll never find a
I have
picture of me with a
pictures.
hood. No, you don't.
You don't. I got receipts. I will find them. I don't have receipts.
No, you don't.
And you
I didn't wear a hood on my head.
And you wearing
I always had a hat.
I think you did it. I think you did it when I sat down.
Well, maybe
I think you
just
did
to
it when I
mess
sat.
with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was never intentional. No, I wasn't sporting.
And like 3 hands in, I'm in middle position. I open, and you're in late position, and you just overshove every time.
We're not shoved.
You overshove every time, and I looked up. I'm like, who the?
No, I just walk to the table, right?
And I have to give it up.
Yeah.
Because I have no idea. Because sometimes you might have it.
But I always have it.
But I think
always had it.
Yeah, you always had it.
Always had it.
I think you just knew how to play me, man. And I didn't realize it was you in last position.
I mean, you build a pot for me, I'm going to take it away from you.
And you sure did.
Yeah. No, those were fun times.
Those were fun times, man.
Race it down. Hey, we'll make it 30 to go. Call. 120. Send it this way. Next hand, please.
Yeah.
Those were fun. No, analyzing poker at the poker table, not fun. Talking about fantasy football at the poker table, also not fun.
Yeah, I don't.
So,
look, I don't. And when people start talking to me about their games that they play on their phones,
right?
I get a table change. gotta get a table change.
Let's start talking about the games that they play on their phone.
Games they play
like
on their
Candy Crush type stuff.
Yes, man. Yes.
Really? I'm not a games guy on my phone.
I play a game that I've been playing. I'm about to get out of it, but there's a game
to get out of it. It's like a War of Worlds game type thing.
Like,
oh my gosh, that was just a total guess.
No, it's not. It's not that game in particular, but it's something like this where you build armies, you fight other armies, you build up your castles. You know those kind of games.
Real nerd.
I told you, geeky,
get it.
geeky. And yeah, those are not fun conversations.
Never been engaged in that conversation.
It's okay.
Honestly, if someone started to talk to me,
that.
nope, I think I'd be all in. I think I'd be all in on that conversation. That if a stranger is willing to talk to me about what's the name of this game,
They won't.
I
can't remember.
You can't remember the name of the game that you play? Anyways, if I had let's call it War of the Gods. If somebody's playing this game on their phone called War of the Gods and they were that invested into it, I'm having that conversation. So that is an awkward conversation that I can live in for hours.
So you're telling me
I'm going to ask them how it's going.
Sammy, okay, I'm going to say Sammy because I'm not going to call it his ethnicity, sitting at the table, either watching a movie or playing a game.
Well, watching the movie, yeah. I mean,
well, no, they're either watching a movie or they're playing that whatever that game is where they move
like
pieces.
Bejeweled and stuff.
It's like I don't know if it's Sudoku.
It doesn't matter.
But you know what
They're
I'm talking
playing
about.
A game at the table.
So you're engaging them. You're engaging them if they're sitting next to you playing that game.
No.
Every time he gets a hand,
if they mention the game to me, then we're gonna have a conversation.
Gotcha.
I'm not going out of my way to talk to them because they're not gonna be interesting. But if they're gonna start just like getting really excited about it, I'm probably gonna actually. This is what I'm gonna do. You're gonna come sit down at the table. You're gonna be next to me. He's gonna start talking about the game. I'm going to start asking him about the game. You're going to wish I would shut up and stop asking about the game, and then I'm going to get a seat change or a table change, and you're stuck next to him. That's actually
pretty much what you normally do. Yeah. That sounds like you.
So,
that's
no.
Yeah.
But I would definitely get him riled up.
That is your move,
and make him think that you were really into this conversation as well.
Yeah, that's your move.
But no, so Life 360, right? That's where we're going with this. I'm talking about fantasy football and some poker reminiscing.
Yeah.
No, I miss poker. I think I'm going to play this weekend, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Got some home games out here. Hadn't seen the boys in a while. Think I'm going to be able to make an appearance this weekend.
They got home games out here?
Yeah.
We'll talk offline.
Yeah.
We'll talk offline about that.
Depends on, they got games.
Yeah.
They got a lot of games. Yeah. Usually a Friday and a Saturday night. I don't usually make the Friday because waking up at 3:50 on the Friday morning kind of hits a little different. Once 10:30 rolls around, the game's just getting good. So I usually go play the Saturday one. No, it's a good game.
I wanted to play the game. See, that would have been cool if I showed up and you're like, what?
Nah, I mean, how deep are you, bud? What you got on the table? I just want to make sure I got you covered.
I got $200.
No, don't even show up with that.
$200.
You got $200. Game's closed. No seat open, sir. we can't sit down at a game and invite a guy with $200.
What do they play?
Oh, 1, 2, 5.
Oh, it's 1, 2. Oh,
yeah,
1,
we
2,
play
5
1, 2.
straddle.
Yeah, but we always straddle.
Okay.
It usually ends up turning into like 1, 2, 5, 10, 20 at some point in time.
Really?
No, not always, but we'll get a little crazy. But yeah, typically we always 1, 2, 5, pretty standard. Standard with the straddle.
I really do wish I played that game. I know I say this, but I really do wish I played poker better. I love playing poker. But I'm just like when I start playing tight,
no.
And I'm playing tight, I'm just playing.
I'll make sure that you don't get invited to this game. So you just said $200 and gonna play tight. Yeah. Tell you what, I'll let you go play that game on the night that I'm not there. No, we got to get stuck really early and we got to get deep really early in that game. That's about the way it usually goes. So I don't think I've ever sat down and not had to like add on before I started winning. I mean, I've beat the game. Like it's not like I'm not losing there, but I have to get stuck in order before like. The quicker you get down, the more time you have to catch up kind of thing. And like, that's almost it. I mean, I'm like, hey, like, let me just get half this first buy-in out the way in the first 30 minutes so we can get it back and then start going, add on. So
I'm the worst.
So
I'm the worst.
No, it's not that. It's your attitude, Ray. You can't be a winner with that attitude.
No, wow. Thank you. But no, that's not why. That's not why. I They always catch. They always
No,
catch.
my
I'm not gonna.
gosh.
I'm not gonna start talking about bad beats and stuff of that nature.
Man,
We're not
you were
gonna
just
go there.
knocking out all the topics here.
All the
Oh,
topics that we don't want to talk about. Like,
we are going fantasy football.
I'm bringing up all the taboo topics.
Taboo.
Yeah.
That's almost, couldn't remember that one. Remember that time we talked about Nick Saban? Couldn't remember that guy either, huh? Down in the trenches.
I probably won't forget that name for a while now. Probably won't forget it for a while.
Yeah.
That was great. I couldn't. Yeah, I told my wife about that.
Yeah. Academy Sports. That's another one. We're just recalling all of Ray's CTE moments, and we're not that many episodes in.
No.
Yeah.
No. There'll
You
be
should have
more.
wore one of
I
those
promise you.
dome things. What? No, not Halo. See, now I'm having a CTE moment. The foam protectors that they put on the football players' heads now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
No, just on a daily basis, not necessarily when you're playing football.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's too late now.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
You can't undo CTE. Good.
Because the thing is, I know, I don't think I have that. I don't. I'm
think
just
you do
forgetful. I'm just super forgetful. But the thing is, with those things, those guys, I don't know if it's just did they talk about what it is?
I don't even know what we're talking about right now.
The extra apparatus they put on.
Oh,
the helmet.
yeah.
Is it just foam, thick foam? Because it feels like even if it's light, it's gonna, because of the wind.
Well, apparently they're also not. It's supposed to. Yeah, it definitely has to add weight to the helmet, but they're also saying that the Guardian. That's what they call it, the Guardian cap, right? So the Guardian thing, they're not even claiming that it protects anybody, because if they make that claim that it protects someone, and then that person gets hurt, then they're liable.
Sued,
So no clue if it's actually doing anything. It has to do something, especially in line play when everybody's just butting heads all practice long.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And then they wouldn't allow kids to wear them in Louisiana.
Really?
Yes, they had a whole thing, I think, with that, where some kids, like LHSAA, wouldn't allow them to wear them. I'm positive that Louisiana had something where they wouldn't allow the kids to wear it.
Wow.
Because it wasn't, because of that reason, because it wasn't like sanctioned, it wasn't approved necessarily or something like that with the uniform guidelines and safety guidelines. It didn't meet, but they wouldn't let them.
That sounds
I don't
like
know
LHSAA.
if they, yeah, it definitely
that sounds
does.
like them, yeah.
It sounds like some standard high school, any name, any state BS, where they just make up something because they're trying not to get sued from one way or another. The manufacturer of the helmet wasn't approving the Guardian to be placed on top of their helmet, something like that. It's an article. We got to try to find it. Throw it in the description as far as the Guardian cap thing. Pretty sure Louisiana high school athletics are the ones that had this issue. It's an interesting little read, completely BS and not surprising that high schools would have this type of thing go on.
Definitely need to check that out. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
There's only a couple skill guys that wore them in the NFL.
I think I saw a running back wearing it.
Did you?
For one of the NFL teams.
Yeah. I know there's only a few
in the game.
Yeah, a few in the game. Yes,
Yeah.
I've only seen a few of them in the game actually have them on. Which, I mean, if it makes you feel safe, maybe it's good and bad, because sometimes that false sense of safeness leads to thinking you're Superman. You know that whole thing about boxing gloves. They seem soft, so they take more punches to the head. You get punched with a fist, hurts a lot more. Probably going to protect yourself a little bit more and not take punches to the head. So that's the MMA. They get less strikes to the head than what boxers do. You know that. So.
Is that true?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, MMA guys.
Yeah, because they're always they're going for strikes. They're kicking, and they're also going to try to.
Yeah, very so.
You,
I mean, you'll get knocked out, obviously. We've seen that. But a lot of times, it's a 2PC later. It's not just sitting there just jabbing.
It's because they got the little weightlifter looking gloves.
Yeah.
With I think it's a 6 pound. Is it 6 pounds up here?
Probably not pounds.
What am I trying to say here?
Ounces. We're going to go with
ounces. Yeah.
Ounces, definitely.
Pounds, because of his pound. Good night.
Yep. Yeah, so on that one, I think we're getting close to the end here.
6 pounds.
So, not 6 pound gloves in MMA. That's definitely not what we're going with. But
No, not at all.
hope everybody enjoyed all the tangents that we went on tonight. Appreciate everyone. Yeah, appreciate everyone tuning in. Make sure that you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a comment below, especially if you know something about the Guardian Cap thing that happened in the state of Louisiana. But nonetheless, appreciate everybody tuning in. Ray, I think that's it for us today. Thanks everybody for tuning in to another episode of
New Dad Order.